Welcome back to Mavericks Research. This is Michael Morrell. It's September 16th, 2024, and we're back with another crypto market update. Okay, what do we have? It's still looking ugly, and the best we can do for now is to monitor our thresholds, which have barely moved. If you're looking right here, we're around 52K, 55K, my bad, and 63 on top. So these are thresholds, and we're just stuck in this eternal sideways range. I need to point out, though, that it's drooping and that we're continuing to see a series of lower lows and lower highs. And that's not good. What I also don't like is that the lower threshold is not really clearly defined, right? I could draw a vertical here, but I would have to kind of rough it a little bit. I mean, the best I could probably do, if you're looking for a support line, is do this. That looks okay, but does it really matter? I mean, as you can tell, we are drooping lower, right? Right here, however you want to define this. So, and we have definitely a threshold here. The first hurdle now for this week is the 63K. The next one is around 55K. So we started the week here, by the way. So that's how it counts. So you can see is the same spacing above and below. And again, it's based on standard deviation. We have one standard deviation that begins at end of last week, based on the volatility observed over the last 30 days, what the expected move range is. It's not using applied volatility because I don't have access to that data yet, but this seems to work actually quite well. I'm surprised how well it actually has worked. And it's giving us fairly reliable thresholds. And what are they good for? Well, I'm calculating them because we need inflection points. And it's fair to say that at these inflection points, a decision has to be made by the market. Okay, do I bounce back or do I continue lower? And the expectation usually is, in terms of the market participants, that we continue to see more of what we have seen. Now, if you drop below these thresholds, then that is something that the market might not have expected. And we usually see acceleration. And that's what usually happens when you have these inflection points, right? You see the market accelerate. In between, it just keeps meandering around. And up here, we would have the same thing, right? If it finally heaves its collective carcass, the collective crypto carcass, remember that from last week? If it finally heaves itself over this threshold here, it keeps just wobbling around this threshold, 62, 63, depending where we are. It hasn't really moved much, which shows us also that volatility seems to be remaining the same, right? We always have this 12, 13,000 handle range, which is actually quite big. I mean, come on. I know we're talking about a $60,000 product here, but that's a wide range. And we keep bouncing in this, and we need resolution. Otherwise, we're going to stay in this until Christmas. And that's where it will happen, okay? That's really the big takeaway for you guys every week. Where can I see some action? And until we see the market trend again, like we have, right? Like here, things are going to get a lot easier. I mean, not that they're complicated right now. We just keep bouncing around here, right? You could swing trade this very nicely. Buy here, sell here, until you can't, right? And you probably can just set a stop here and above here. Because if it crosses over certain thresholds, then, it's just going to accelerate. Boom. Same with Ethereum, although I like Ethereum better. As a side note, by the way, again, in case I haven't pointed this out today, which I haven't, here's the URL. That's where you can find it. It's publicly available. bit.ly/crypto_EM_ranges. Again, EM stands for expected move. Echo Mike, right? Expected move, because that's the range we expect the market to move inside, right, for this week. I've highlighted Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you can just look up whatever other coin you're interested in. I've listed almost everything that is relevant on Binance right here. Right? 244 this week in terms of liquidity. That's a nice cross-section of the market, okay? So, Ethereum, why do I like it better? Well, because look at the support line here. It is around 2100, and it's clearly defined. And I like it for another reason, and I'll show you that in a second. But on the upper side, and I think the odds are fairly low right now, we're going to actually get there. If we do, we're going to see a really nice, juicy advance. So keep an eye on that. But it's around 2,500, okay? Just round it up. That's basically where the upper threshold is. For now, it's not really relevant, to be honest, okay? So let me show you why I think Bitcoin, Ethereum Bitcoin is actually the one that you keep an eye on, because look how it has dropped. It's just been falling like an anvil since, well, let me see here. Yeah, there was trouble in paradise already in 2022, obviously. And then starting in September of 22, it started weakening against Bitcoin. It just has continued this pattern for 1.5 years now. And now it's starting to accelerate. This looks kind of scary, actually, because there's quite a long descent, right? Even in comparison with some of this here. So it's not looking good. And again, this is just Bitcoin versus Ethereum, right? Or Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So if we're going back to Ethereum USDT, why do I care about that? Because it's the weaker one, but it has a more defined support line here, right? See that? It lines up very nicely. If I go all the way back, see it lines up here, and here maybe not. But it lines up here, it touches 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 here. And again, I didn't draw them manually, okay? This is calculated, again, it got this from here, from this sheet, my trusted sheet. These are the exact values. I copy-paste them in. And this threshold right here will be important, because we need to see support here. If it touches here, we need to see support here. And up here, well, if we ever get here, you can expect this thing to really take off like a rocket, because it's just been beaten down and beaten down and beaten down so much. So it's what we would call in the stock market oversold, although there really is no such thing in the crypto market. It just needs to get a break at some point. And once it gets a move on, we're going to see this in rocket. But for now, it just keeps being beaten down. And if you watch Ethereum Bitcoin, then it's going to give you a pretty good clue as to whether or not it's ready to reverse. Because unless we see, again, let me bring this back to you. This is kind of important. I know it's kind of academic. It feels a little bit academic, but see this? I mean, this thing, it just doesn't get a break, right? It just keeps dropping lower. And so let's say, right, if you remember the chart from before, Ethereum USDT, right? And it has the thresholds. And let's say it breaches the upper threshold. We're actually seeing here one of these recent highs being broken. I think this one would be a pretty good one, 0.046, right? Somewhere around here. If that one gets breached above, right? If there's a breach up here, then I think we see this dynamic shifting in Ethereum. But for now, it's just keeps getting beaten down. There's just, nothing else to be said. Okay? And let's actually take another look at total 2 and total 3. Yeah, it's not looking so hot either. Total 2, that's including Ethereum. That's basically altcoins plus Ethereum. And yeah, it's just, what can I say? I'm just focusing on price here, and I don't see anything encouraging. Total 3, which is just altcoins or non-Ethereum or non-Bitcoin coins. It's looking a little bit better, a little bit healthier, a little bit. But again, lower lows, lower highs, right? Same thing. See that? It's just, what do we have here? We have it actually sitting, what's being drawn by the price line right now is actually kind of interesting. So if I would draw a horizontal here, right? No, I should do it like this. So if I draw a horizontal, I want a horizontal. Let's take this one here. And I would probably put it right here, because see that? There's quite a little bit of support here from previous instances, previous touches. So let's assume here, this is a touch, this is a fake out, this is another fake out, and it stabilizes here and bounces higher. Then we could see a little bit of a recovery. But for now, it's not looking very so good. So, all right. What else do we have? The sheet I've shown you, let me switch desktops and show you this real quick. This is actually my Veritas alerts. Right now we're in cash season, for obvious reasons, right? I mean, you see how the market looks like, and there's no reason to play right now. It's very important as a trader to know when to sit it out. And unless you're short right now, it's best to kind of just head for the hills and just kind of sit it out, because the market is just running in circles and it's driving everyone crazy. And also the moves that happen very quickly. So unless you're really nimble and quick on your feet, it's going to be very difficult for you to even catch these swings. If you have an automated system, you might be able to do it, right? By having swing trading rules. I have systems like that running, but you as a retail trader, right? As a discretionary trader, I would recommend you follow the signal here, because it's just, tells you what to do. It's done very well over the years. Just started with $1,000 in 2020, beginning of 2020, and look where it is right now. I mean, it's done very well. And I created these graphs over the weekend, which I really like. It shows you a comparison in terms of percentage appreciation, and see the percentage returns here. So it's basically an appreciation curve in percentage terms. And on the bottom, you see right here Bitcoin, and up here you see Veritas, and you can tell how well it's done over the years. So I'm very proud of this system, actually. It's a great signal, and yeah, it really keeps you on the right side of the trade. Does it? Is it completely impervious? No, I mean, you can see, during 2022, it got hit a little bit, but nothing comparison with Bitcoin. And here's another graph that looks really interesting. By the way, I shouldn't say an annual here because it's really compound annual growth rate, right? So can you take this out? 106% on average. Actually, 2020 was really, really strong. Right? It took $1,000 and turned over 5K. That's nice, 5x. But it's doing very well. And, right, I mean, 106% on average. Basically more than doubling every year. And here, this also, I need to reterm this because, I can say monthly annual growth rate. You can, monthly average, I would say, probably 6.2% on average. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Try to find a hedge fund that gives that to you. Now, of course, there's volatility, right? I'm really doing much in 2022, but who did, right? But the hit was really low, I mean, in comparison with the gains. So, all right. What we do for now? We wait. That's the best thing to do, guys. Really. I mean, my takeaway here for you guys today is to just kind of wait for those thresholds to be overcome. And then we can talk business, right? For now, we're really in cash mode. Because this thing, it ain't going anywhere, right? I've spent the summer developing systems, signals. I really like what I've done. If you're looking back here again, here, actually, I've added links to both Gravitas and also Veritas, where you can actually always get to the profit graph. The same here actually on Gravitas. Here we actually have more. We also have zoom charts of the actual state of the system. I can probably show you this real quick. Let me pop it up somewhere here. I think it's here. Yeah, there you go. So here you actually have a zoom chart that shows you what the comments are doing. And that's pretty sweet. Yeah, got a little bit whipsawed Gravitas up here. But, look at this crazy market. I think it's done actually fairly well. So, it's been a productive summer. And I think that was the best way to spend the summer. Producing cool tools, beefing up the systems, improving and refining, backtesting. And that was really a good time to do it. And now we're heading into the final quarter of 2024. And hopefully we see a little bit of an improvement and we're going back to something more directional, because this has just been painful the last 6 months and people are exhausted. But take note of your own emotions, right? Look at the market, look at yourself, the way you feel about it. Probably losing interest. You're probably thinking, oh man, why am I even looking at this shit, right? This is usually when things turn around. But I don't feel really it's yet about to happen. I don't see the acceleration. It needs to usually come from an inflection point. And right now it's still meandering. It needs to do something radical where we really know, all of a sudden it busts higher and nobody saw it coming. That would be like a good starting sign, like a point of recognition in a way, right? And we haven't seen that point of recognition yet. All right, that's all I got for this week. I hope it was actionable and entertaining and informative. And I'll see you next week. Cheers.